my Department for the Interior is in fact monitoring a wide variety of calamities and natural disasters occurring over the past few Earth days. Sinkholes, hail the size of nickels falling, flooding here within 100 miles of our Imperial City in the southern portion of the City District. Yesterday, we were tracking flooding in the area. You've got in the Memphis area repeated tornado threats and tornadoes actually touching down. We've had tornadoes touch down in the Atlantis, although not recently in terms of a few hours or a few days on this planet, but within a few months we have had tornadoes touch down in all places in the Atlantis. We have seen in the Far East, through our kith and kindred, our family there suffering cyclones and epic size earthquakes. When you see all these taking place, you have to take a look and see where you are with certain things. It is true that when Hurricane Katrina came through, a lot of our folks did not have the wherewithal to address particular matters, and major consequences were suffered, cause and effect. We did what we could to aid and abet those who survived, and I'm sure there are countless others who have done the same. But when you start taking a look at the things that we're seeing now in rapid succession, you have to take a look at where exactly you are as a collective, not just as individuals. And you have to make a determination. Well, if a tornado comes through here, cyclone comes through here, hurricane comes through here, earthquakes, meteor strike, hailstorm that delivers massive damage, whatever the case may be, natural disaster or man-made nonsense, you have to begin to say to yourself, what is my backup? Not just on an individual basis, what is my backup on a collective basis? What is the plan? How do we implement our plan? How do we train for a worst case scenario as an individual family and as a collective of folks to make sure that everyone has a decent shot at surviving? This is not something that you wait till you're in the middle of it to start to look at. You gotta do this beforehand. It is essential that our folks begin to take a look at where things are and why. It is absolutely essential that our folks take a position that says, look, we have to be proactive on the front end. And it is conducive for us to make sure that we do this because of the fact that we have offspring that have to be seen after. We have a future that we have before us. And the only way that we get to that particular future is if we exercise some common sense and take care of self-preservation. You cannot rely on other parties to do for you what you can do for yourself, and you shouldn't take that position that you could. Now, obviously there are things that will occur on this planet that are beyond your ability to do anything about. We get that. We're all in that particular category. The fact of the matter is, there is no reason, there is no excuse not to put something in place to at least offset what could be a major disaster. And so we have to do the obligation and responsibility as those who claim to be adults, those who claim to have life, or those who claim to have some type of comprehension of what is necessary for self-preservation. You have to move on these matters individually as and collectively, so that way we can provide for our future. It is absolutely, positively the smart thing to do. Now, we already know that most of our folks right now, they have their minds elsewhere. And a lot of folks, they're so economically depressed or constricted right now that they're really preoccupied. I get that. Still, we have a duty, obligation, and responsibility to put a little bit of weight here, plan a little bit there, train with this, and work on that. You still have to do is the point that I'm making. Even the squirrel has common sense enough to put some stuff away to get them through the thin times. There are those who will tell you to watch what ants do, watch what bees do, watch what the animals do, because nature always tells you, get ready, it's coming. Now, the foreign venue folks are speaking to the issue right now of telling all their folks, buy gold, buy gold, buy gold, stack gold, buy gold. And my folks have come to me about the various announcements that we make available because of all the things that we see. They say, sir, they say, We have seen, or as they'll say, City of New, we have seen the commercials on the foreign venues television where they're speaking to folks getting ready for 3 days without water, 3 days without heat, 3 days without food. They're telling their folks to get ready for some type of calamity. Yes, they are. And our folks are, uh, they have to find a way to, look, get it together. Because I'm not saying that you won't be able to find assistance from other parties. All I'm saying is you should be able to do for yourself, and then when you exhaust your ability to do for self, perhaps you may have to reach out for help from somewhere else. But at least do for self on the front end. That's all that I'm really saying. And by and large, our folks are relying on someone else. And that's really, really not smart, especially when the someone else that most of our folks generally rely on is hostile to them. And as a consequence of that hostility, they don't have your best interest in mind. And basically, you're on your own. And my thing is, if you're going to be on your own, be prepared. Be smart. Now, we are working on a wide variety of things, and we're not the only ones that's doing that. What I'm suggesting is that all the various houses of the Moors, I don't care if they're declared or undeclared, NOI, Israelite, whatever grassroots organization they come from, of folks of color, so-called black, brown, so yellow, and red, they're all Moors. And all of them need to find a way to say, listen, we need to pull together and work this out. And that's really what I'm saying. So I really think that folks should take a look at that. And if they feel that what I'm saying makes sense, my imperial government stands at the ready to work with anyone that is doing something that's viable from a perspective where they are positive, where they're not hostile to anyone. Because we're not hostile to anyone. We're not going to engage with parties that's hostile to anyone. We don't want folks being hostile towards us, and we don't want anyone around us that's hostile to others, because that sows negative energy. And where negative energy is, we don't want to be. We're not perfect, we're not pious, and we don't always get it right, but we're not going to arbitrarily go out of our way to interact with parties that like to sow mayhem. But anyway, for those who are along that line of thinking where, yes, we like to work with folks who are doing for self independently on their own terms, on their own steam, they may well consider contacting us via email, radioempire3 at yahoo.com. Radioempire3 at yahoo.com is our central email location. We also have in the foreign venue a central voicemail, 212 area code 592-8959. That's area code 212-592-8959. My department for the communications maintains that line through a straw party to make sure that the folks have access to us by way of my General Information Agency. And with that, I will say peace and love, and I thank you for your question. Islam.